Hello aspirants. For over centuries, culture was seen as hallmark of humanity. From cave paintings to space exploration, everything was seemed uniquely human. So now, the biggest question of the day is that, is culture unique to human beings or do we share it with other species also? So friends, in today's discussion, let's dive into one of the fascinating debates in anthropology, that is culture unique to human beings or not? So friends, myself, Dr. Suresh Guramkunda. So I'm the faculty of anthropology at SRIRAM's IAS. So I welcome you all to this session on behalf of SRIRAM's IAS. So friends, from today onwards, let's start one important series, that is anthropology in 15 minutes. So before we discuss our actual topic, let's try to understand some of the basic questions like what is culture? And how is it different from civilization? And what are the basic aspects related to culture? And how to understand culture in a basic manner? So let's try to understand all of those things. And then let's move to the actual debate, that is culture unique to human beings? So shall we start the session? So now, let's begin with one of the basic questions, that what is culture? So if we talk from the perspective of culture, friends, so if we talk from socio-cultural anthropology point of view, the concepts of society and culture are very much central to that. Understanding what is culture makes everything well understandable. So let's try to understand what is culture first. So if you see from the perspective of etymologically, that is etymologically speaking, so the word culture is derived from the Latin word curler, so which means to till or to cultivate or to take care, so to care of. So this is etymological meaning of the word curler. So the word culture has been derived from the Latin word curler, so that's how the word has been derived. And now when we talk from the perspective of its meaning of culture or curler, so originally it was related to agriculture because it was being taken from the perspective of cultivation of the soil or crops. So that's how the word culture has been derived. But if we talk from the Middle Ages point of view, the term has been expanded to mean the cultivation of mind, that is cultivation of the mind or cultivation of the manners or the human faculties as well. So from that's how the word culture has been entered into human perspective, and then like it has entered into the concept of the culture and civilization. And then if you see from the perspective of anthropological point of view or sociological point of view, the term culture is basically refers to the total way of life of a group of people who are living in a society. So generally when we talk from society, society is nothing but group of people living in a particular place. So particular people who are living in a society, they will have a different way of living. So that total way of life of people who are living in a group at a particular place called as, is generally known as culture. Then if we talk from the perspective of the culture, basically culture includes everything that the people do, everything that the people use, everything that the people believe, and everything that the people practice. So that's how you can understand what culture is. So that means, so when we talk from the perspective of the culture, so basically it is that, so the total way of life of living people in a group. So then, like if you see from the perspective of the material aspects, so there are so many materials that people will use, like be it could be the tools, be it could be the buildings that they live, be it could be the clothes that they wear. So everything are part and parcel of the culture, and that is the material aspect of the culture. And then if you see from the non-material aspects point of view, so there are so many things that we have, like be it could be the traditions, be it could be the customs, be it could be the belief systems, be it could be the religion. So all of them are generally nothing but the material aspects. So in fact, the things like music, dance, so which we cannot touch, so they're also part of culture. And then there are some social aspects, that is how people live together. So all such kind of aspects are also part and parcel of culture. So be it could be marriage, be it could be family, be it could be kinship. So all of them are central to the concept of socio-cultural anthropology. So now let us try to understand the basic definition of culture. See friends, when we talk from the perspective of definitions of culture, there are so many definitions that have been given by famous anthropologists and scholars. But one of the most authentic as well as one of the most anthropological way of defining culture is that the culture definition that has been given by E.B. Taylor. So who is regarded as one of the pioneer anthropologists in anthropology. So that's from his perspective, culture can be defined as culture is that complex whole which includes the knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, and customs, and any other capabilities and habits that are acquired by man as a member of society. So, being a member of society, man tries to acquire so many aspects. Like man tries to develop some arts and art forms, and man tries to develop and build some belief systems. So like man will try to just frame some certain morals and laws in the society, so to maintain social order. So all of them are part and parcel of the culture. So this is one holistic, integrated and most comprehensive definition of the culture. So try to just read it carefully, and one thing that you have to focus is that, so what culture includes. So that is very, very important here. So that is, be it could be the knowledge, be it could be the beliefs, be it could be the arts, be it could be the morals, be it could be the laws, be it could be the customs that a man acquires as a member of a particular society. So that makes culture. So this is the definition of the culture. So now, so after understanding what is culture and the definition of the culture, now let us try to just have a look at what is civilization. So as we have understood in the case of culture, let us try to understand in a similar way what civilization is all about. So etymologically speaking, the term civilization comes from another Latin word, that is civis. So what do you mean by civis? Civis means citizen. So from this word, the word civilization has been derived. But originally, when we talk from the perspective of civilization, originally it referred to the condition of living in cities or the organized communities. That is basically the meaning of the civilization. But if we talk from the perspective of the civilization in general way, generally civilization is considered as the progressed or advanced stage of cultural development. So every culture will pass and every culture is dynamic. So when we say culture is dynamic, culture keeps on moving and culture evolves from one state to another state. So during this process, so in cultural progress, so at one particular point, the culture reaches to the peak. So such kind of progressed state or advanced state of the cultural development is generally regarded as civilization. So I hope you are clear with the term civilization. So basically culture is nothing but the way of living of the group of people. So that is one thing. So civilization is nothing but the advanced or progressed state of cultural development. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind. So then, is there any particular criteria for defining civilization? That means yes. So one of the famous sociologists and anthropologists called A.W. Green. So A.W. Green has given a criteria to just define civilization. So according to A.W. Green, culture becomes civilization when it possesses some attributes like written script or philosophy, technology, metallurgy, and specialized division of measure and labor. So try to understand that according to A.W. Green. So when a particular culture possesses certain attributes like written script, philosophy, or like anything like technology, metallurgy, etc., then only we can call such kind of thing as civilization. So try to recollect things from Harappan culture and Harappan civilization. So one of the best examples for the civilization is Harappan civilization or Indus Valley civilization. So that was a culture, and at one point of time the Harappan culture has reached to its peak. So that is basically, we'll call that particular part or advanced part of the culture as the Indus Valley civilization. I hope you can recollect that. So now if we take from the perspective of the anthropological perspective, so civilization is nothing but the culture at its advanced stage of development. So at its advanced stage of development, a culture generally will possess some things like urban life, like possessing framing of state organization, or like literacy and the technological progress, etc. So all of them are some of the important characteristics of culture. Are you getting it? So now, so let's try to understand further aspects that what are the basic differences between culture and civilization, or how we can differentiate culture and civilization. So in fact, civilization was very much nearer to culture, but there is a fine line of difference between culture and civilization. So if we talk from the perspective of the basic differences between them, so culture is nothing but it's a qualitative phenomena. So it is more or less concerned with the quality, whereas civilization is nothing but it's a quantitative phenomena. So we can measure the civilization, whereas culture cannot be measured. So from that point of view, we can say that culture is non-measurable or non-metric, whereas civilization is metric or it is measurable. So that is one another important thing. So when we talk from the perspective of culture, culture is mostly non-materialistic in nature, although materialistic aspects also will be there, but mostly culture could be related to non-materialistic aspects. That means predominantly non-materialistic in nature. Whereas if you see from the civilization point of view, so civilization is more of materialistic in nature. That means it is mostly predominantly materialistic in nature. Let's say for example, if a particular person possesses bicycle, person A, and person B possesses, let's say, a motorbike, and then person C possesses a car. So amongst these three, so if you see from the perspective of the civilization point of view, the person who possesses car will be considered as most progressive, and he will be regarded as civilized person among the three. That means for a general explanation or general example. So that is one thing. So it is mostly materialistic in nature. And then if you see from the perspective of another difference, so civilization is nothing but it's a means to end, whereas culture is end in itself. That means culture is an ever going concept, whereas civilization is one part or one state in the middle of the culture. So that is also one thing that you have to remember. Is that clear? And now, next difference is that civilization is more or less tangible. That means materialistic. It is mostly materialistic in nature. That's why we can touch it, we can feel it. So that's why civilization is more or less, it is tangible. And if we talk from culture point of view, mostly culture is intangible. Mostly we are using the word mostly or predominantly. So that is one thing. So in very simple manner to say what is culture and what is civilization, how can we differentiate means, so in very simple manner we can say that the civilization is what we are, whereas the culture is what we are, whereas civilization is what we have. So this is what you have to remember. Is that clear? So now let us try to understand other aspects, and the biggest question of the day and one of the anthropologists' fascinating debates, that is culture unique to human beings? So what do you say? just take a moment and try to think over, is culture unique to human beings, or do we share it with other species also? Now, just look at this image. So, can you see some of the human beings dancing and enjoying? And can you see human beings are painting and doing all such kind of things? So, if you talk from the perspective of culture, so be some of the cultural traits like singing, dancing, painting, art forms, or like living in groups, wearing clothes, like using tools, all of them are considered as part and parcel of culture. And culture is one such thing which would be transmitted, and it is learned from one generation to another generation and transmitted from one generation to another generation. So look at these pictures and also try to think over. Like you can see chimpanzees are cracking the nuts here, and like the whales are just playing together. So try to just look at these images. So let's try to delve into today's discussion. That is culture unique to human beings? So now, if you look from the perspective of the traditional anthropological view, so friends, the answer for the question is yes. That is, culture was long considered unique to humans. So why is it considered so? That means from traditional anthropological view, if you see, so it is believed that the reason for that only humans were believed to create, to learn and transmit complex symbolic systems, like be it could be language, be it could be religion, be it could be law, be it could be art, so all of those things. So all these things are nothing but some of the complex symbolic systems. So it is believed that humans only possess such kind of things. But what has happened and what has been proven, if we talk from the perspective of the traditional view, animals were thought to live by instinct and they do not possess culture. So that's how it was being seen. But now when we see from the perspective of the modern anthropological perspective or modern ethnological findings point of view, so recent studies have shown some of the evidences that some of the non-human primates and some other animals in the animal world, they do exhibit culture-like behavior. So here, what do you mean by culture-like behavior? So when we talk from the perspective of culture-like behavior, so just look at some of the examples. Now, if we take the example of chimpanzees have started using some things called as like tools. So they use sticks to fish termites, and then they use stones to crack the nuts. So that means usage of tool and tool technology. So that was also that we can see the primitive man, what he has done. So then like teach the skills to young ones. So they can teach like cracking of the nuts or like catching the termites by using sticks, all those things. They will teach these things to young ones. That means here they are also transmitting their knowledge to the younger ones, isn't it? So that's one thing. And then that means, and then grooming of the grooming rituals. So this is one another thing that we can see. So all these things were observed in chimpanzees. So where they are regarded as cultural traits, or can it be called as culture in true sense, or can we call it as culture-like behavior? So this is one debate. And then you see dolphins. So what dolphins and whales will do? So dolphins generally uses marine sponges to protect their snouts while foraging. And dolphins and whales, they will play together. So playing or like using marine sponges to protect their snouts. So this is also one of the culture-like behavior, isn't it? So then apart from that, just look at the birds. So you might have witnessed the beautiful singing aspect from the birds. So birds do sing. So singing birds is one another thing. So singing or songs is one of the cultural attribute, isn't it? So if you see from this perspective, so can we say culture is restricted only to humans, or culture also do exist in other animal species. What do you say? Yes. Let's see and let's try to get into one anthropological conclusion. So if you see from the perspective of anthropology, so although animals have culture-like traits or culture-like behavior, that is usage of tool technology or like learning behavior or tradition, such kind of things, only human beings possess full-fledged culture. So try to understand this logic that only human beings possess full-fledged culture, where we have the complex symbolic things like language, like the all other aspects. So that means with symbolic meaning, accumulating growth and complex social institutions. So that is how like humans possess the full-fledged culture. So this is one thing that you have to keep in mind. So what could be the conclusion that we can give to the debate, that is culture unique to human beings? So conclusion for this, that is anthropological conclusion to this, could be that culture is universal. Culture do exist everywhere in all other species also. So culture is universal, but it is unique to human beings because it is humans possess full-fledged culture. So that is one thing. So that's one thing that you have to remember. So that's all for the day, my dear friends. So in next session, let's try to dwell into some other important and interesting concepts in anthropology. So stay tuned to Anthropology in 15-minute series, and I'll be coming up with more such kind of interesting topics. So let's learn, let's enjoy, and let's have a beautiful understanding of what anthropology is all about. So thank you all. So we'll meet again in next session.